What's going on, beautiful people? So I've just come back from Belgium. Well, not like this second, but last night I come back and I am so tired today. Do I look tired? Anyway, with that being said, tomorrow, what day is it? Monday, so Tuesday is tomorrow. I don't know what it is when I'm releasing this, but George Farmer's coming tomorrow. I haven't seen George for like a few years. He came to my previous studio way back when, and I'd only just sort of moved in, so I had about like 5 tanks running. But what's really nice is obviously everything's set here. I mean, I've got space for a few more tanks, which I will fill. And one of those is gonna be over in that area that we're gonna be doing with George as well. So I need to prepare so much before he comes. Most of the tanks look really, really good, so I don't have to do a lot of like tank prep. A couple of them over there got like too much duckweed. I need to get rid of those. But overall, everything's looking great. 8 foot is looking really good. One thing though, there's a little bit of glass cleaning that needs to happen, but that won't take long at all. Definitely need to trim those plants back. I'm going to cut them right down where the sort of wood line is, replant them so the oranges and the reds at the tips are just peeking over, so that should make the whole tank then look really nice. I'm glad it's come right in now. Do you know what I mean? This is much more how I visualised it, right in time for George coming as well. It's still not what I'd consider complete because I want to see the echinodoros all the way at the surface on either side as well. But when that's happened, then yeah, great. The only problem is here, look, next to it, which was doing really well. Just before I went to Belgium, I put some algicide in it to kill some of the, glutaraldehyde to kill some of the algae, which it has, but it's also killed a ton of the plants because I put way too much in there, I think. I remember when I did it, I sort of over splooshed it and went, oh, and then I thought, it'd be okay, but it wasn't. It's such a small volume of water that the small extra I put in was way too much. So probably just gonna clear that out so it's an empty tank and I better start again. There wasn't shrimp in there anyway because I'd taken them out to put them in the Shire tank down here, which is doing great. All the shrimp that are, I'm pretty sure they start breeding very soon now because we've got males and females in there. So yeah, that's all good. So these tanks need trimming back a bit and some of the floating plants removed. This one needs the duckweed taken out for sure. And again, a little bit of a trim back, open it up a bit. The barb one's pretty good, have to say. And I think we've worked out why there's no duckweed in this tank, even though it's right next to one that's completely contaminated with it. The barbs obviously eat the duckweed. So yeah, thank you very much for doing a job for me, guys. And obviously I've just redone the fish wall just before I went to Belgium. So every tank here is looking fantastic, which is brilliant. There's no work to be done up here, which means I can focus on the rest of the tanks. And here's Timmy, of course. Timmy's tank, loving it. Don't need to do anything apart from, I want to remove some of these stones that he's pulled from the background area and just give the sand a little flick around. That'll freshen it up. And then the water can clear after that as well. So that'll be good. Amazon puffer tank overall is doing fantastic. Might need a little bit of a thinning out, although it has definitely got a forestry vibe in there, isn't it? I think I'll put that plant back a little bit because the pot looks ugly. There's also quite a bit of duckweed at the top. Not a huge amount, but I'll just scoop a load out. This tank now and that one behind it in the middle are the only tanks that have got duckweed, so we're winning. The Malawi cichlid tank, again, the myriophyllum has just gone all the way across, so I'll just trim it back, place it back where it needs to go, a quick, easy fix. Chunks' tank is looking pretty algified. I've sort of just let it go because I know that he's coming out soon, but he looks fantastic. So I'll just run a brush over some of this algae because the good thing is this stuff just collects up nice and easy. And then if any glass needs scraping, no, it doesn't actually. The glass is good there. It's just these like thread algae stuff. It's horrible. Like I say, that's like that because the nutrients were constantly in the water column and it needs refreshing. Congo puffer tank, doing really well. The fish are doing good. A little bit of too many floating plants over in this area, I reckon, because it's darkening it out. A little bit of a siphon on the foreground as well. That's from the bristlenose that I put in there, which have done an amazing job of cleaning it all up because there was real bad case of diatoms in it. Look at this big girl. Big buffer girl. So yeah, that's an easy one as well. A few of the floating plants I'll take out of the top of the rainbow tank just to open it up a bit and get a bit more light in there. That's that one done. This tank is good. The self-sustaining tank looks absolutely brilliant and hopefully George will be impressed with this because there's like barely any tech. We've got 2 moderately priced lights, I would say. Tiny little internal power head with a little bit of carbon in the cartridge, so no sort of real mechanical filtration. And then we've got surface skimmer, that's pretty much it. And an auto water top off and doser, but the whole point of those is so that I don't have to do that. And I haven't touched this tank now in like well over a month. I recently did a trim back on the pearlweed tank, which was a good thing because it's now all grown back nicely and doesn't look kind of like rough. but it's perfect. But down in front of me, I've got all this stuff that I need to take to a recycling centre. But this area is the area I need to sort out the most. This tank is just coming out of the way. I need to shift this one up slightly and also shift the salt water up slightly. It's not as dark as the camera's making it look. Hang on, let me adjust it. There we go. So this is basically now a macroalgae tank with just that red flame macroalgae, and it's a fish. It's a fish tank, this one, because I love the clowns. And I think basically that macroalgae just stops any nitrates at all, which meant that the corals, they do need a little bit, but I could never detect any just because of the pure amount of it. And that makes sense because the bigger it grew, the worse the corals sort of got and the anemone. So it kind of just is a macroalgae tank now, which I'm fine with. So this is the tank that me and George are going to take over there to be scaping. It's got like a scratchy looked bottom. That's where back along I painted it all black because I didn't have a substrate and I thought it looked quite cool. But it actually looks worse when you for setup. So I'll scrape that paint off the bottom and just move this whole thing over there. We'll get a light on it. George, I think, is bringing filtration and he's bringing loads of hardscape and plants and stuff as well. So that'll be cool. Oh yeah, not to forget the Archer tank, looking great. I've recently taken off or trimmed back a lot of the plants from the top area and it opened it up so much more. There you go. There's the archers at the back there. Everything's good. It just needs a little bit of a clean up and just pulling out some of the plants or pushing them back a bit, mulm collecting. The plants are just grown like really, really good. It's got a real natural vibe to it, but it's a little bit of a tidy up. And then next door, the Mabuna, well, this tank is always looking good. And it's kind of why we want to do this at home because don't have to do anything and they all look fantastic. Maybe a little bit of a glass clean up the lip, make sure the skimmer's working again. It's gone too far down. Oh, sorry guys, which is leaving a little bit of an oily substance, but we can fix that very, very easily. Okay, I think that looks really good there. It just ties all this corner in quite nicely. Plus there's some additional light now going onto the saltwater tank because it is very dim with this light. I probably should upgrade it. I'm not too worried about it at the minute though. It definitely needs a clean. The light is very bright as well, so I'll probably dim it down a little bit. This is the Lamini lights. I use them quite a lot. I'll leave a link if you're interested, but I'm foreseeing at least to start with, some algae issues if I just leave it that bright. But I use it quite a lot, as you can see. I've got it on this tank here. I've got it in the Pearlby tank as well, 2 of them. So 4 foot, I go for 2. That one's almost 3 foot, so 1 is good coverage. And then on the 8 foot, there's 3. I did put 4 up there, you see, and it did not need 4. And that's why I've got the 1 spare that we can add there, and it's going to work perfectly. I just love how it grows plants as well. Yeah, this is gross, though. It needs a big clean. Well, I've done it again. I was off maintaining some of the tanks over in the back corner and all of a sudden I heard splashing. I was like, oh no. I actually thought it was leaking. It wasn't. I just completely forgot to turn it off. So there's a lot of water on the floor. All the electrics are raised up because I put them on a little lip behind it. So that's all okay. Yeah, it's not a problem. We've got the old trusty shop vac. I'll just clears it up straight away. At least we know it can hold 100% of the water. What has annoyed me though is the water is sort of wicked underneath and given this weird whitey, blacky top thing. So once I drain the water down, I'll make it all dry underneath as well. Right, crisis over. The tank is ready for me and George tomorrow. Hopefully creating something pretty cool. We're going to go for more of a high-tech version to sort of complement my style and just gives it a different, type of aquarium in the whole studio. Well, it's the next day. The whole studio is ready. The tank's obviously ready as well. And look, George is here.
Hello.
We just got everything out of the car. We're just sort of setting up, had a good chat, look around, having a coffee. We're going to get started in a sec. What are we doing first?
We'll have a chat about what we're going to create.
Off video or off camera is what's normally known as.
Oh, we could do it on camera.
Oh,
nothing
okay.
to hide.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
George is, look at this setup. Extra battery pack and everything.
Oh, it's basic, mate. This is.
Old school, but good, yeah?
I love a DSLR. I love that mirror click and being able to look through the viewfinder and actually seeing the proper stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just old school, mate.
But you do photography, don't you? You do quite a bit of photography.
I love photography. That's how I did a lot of photography before I did video. I'm actually going to go back to a bit of photography because I'm going to do a lot more for PFK magazine.
Okay.
Yeah, do like step-by-step articles and, really focus on some decent aquascaping content for them.
Yeah, so when you select a camera, it's different to me. All I'm looking at is the video capabilities.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even care if it can take photos or not. But,
Yeah, that's fair enough. Each to their own, isn't it?
But yeah, no, I should start doing a bit more, actually, because this camera can do it. But there's a nice big piece of wood down here. Look at these. Look, bristlenose breeding grounds.
Yeah, why not?
Cool. Okay, so that's the main piece, or have we got others? Or?
We've got that's the main piece. We've got a couple of smaller pieces. Just a rough concept. It's going to represent a tree trunk, as you can probably tell. And then we've got a couple of smaller pieces that are going to run around just to kind of mimic that flow of the roots coming down. And then we've got some lovely stones, which we'll get out later, some Yangtze stone. And then we'll do like a really nice foreground of like a light tan browny sands. With mixed textures to make it look really natural. Like a decorative foreground or a functional? Yeah, decorative. So like a thin layer. Yep. And then behind that, there will be soil and like planted background. And then we've got loads of new cool species from Tropica to use, mostly crypts actually. Okay. So relatively low maintenance, but I think we're going to be using CO2 on here. So we'll get some beautiful colours and we'll get the raw best out on the plants, and we can talk about that in a bit. Okay, cool. So you're going to find throughout the video, I'm asking questions which make me sound stupid, but I'm doing that because I'm trying to think through the eye of the audience and stuff they might ask. So I probably would know the answer. Maybe not, yeah, to be fair. There might be some stuff. Yeah, definitely be some stuff I don't know. Because I don't usually do like that sort of high-techy... Well, I have. I mean, my 8 foot has got 2 CO2 injectors on it. So that's the only one in the whole studio. But yeah, we're going to do it on this one so it represents a little bit different to all the other ones around it. And how plants can look as well with a lot more CO2. In my 8 foot, I've only got it going at like 1 to 2 bubbles a second. We could probably up it a bit for this as well. You tend to find stems, for instance, they grow a lot more compact, more density, more vibrant when you've got the CO2 because you can have the lighting a bit higher, which means you've got less chance of algae growth. So yeah, we're going to give that a go. And I mean, we can steal any like already grown in plants for like if we want to like get it to be that done look straight away. Absolutely. Because obviously that's what I normally go for. Because you want instant impact, don't you? So we've got a cool little setup here. The lights behind are obviously reflecting everything. So we've done this. George is setting up his camera so you can just take shots, as and when. It might be a little... Well, there's plenty of room, look. We can step around this. I'm going to kick this camera about 4 times, Have you got any tape, actually? We can tape the tripod down. So
okay, yeah. There we go. George has made allowances for my clumsiness. It's not going anywhere.
It's not just you, mate. I'm the world's clumsiest guy, seriously.
And George is a lot more prepared than me, like cleaning everything beforehand. I don't think I've ever done that.
I'm a bit OCD.
That'd be the military in you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I kind of got conditioned into being prepared.
It's better to be though. It is better to be.
Yeah.
Are you one of those? Like I'm the sort of person when I'm building the scape, there is crap everywhere.
Oh yeah, it's right mess. Yeah, it drives my wife mad. Because all my scapes are in my home, so I try to be as neat and clean as I can.
That makes sense, but. I'm one of those, I want to get the scape done, focus on that and then just clean the mess up later.
Yeah, just by pouring it in. Can you see the dust?
Yeah, all the dust, yeah.
So, I mean, you can fill up super slow, but it's just better safe than sorry.
See, I don't think George knows of this. My secret to any dust.
Yeah, so you don't want that in your tank, ideally.
But it's all nutrient. There's no nutrients there.
I don't know, it might be, but...
to be fair. So George has bathed the wood. It's had a nice bath.
Just washed all the dust off. We don't want cloudy water, Mark, do we?
We will not have cloudy water.
This will want to float, though, so we do need to glue it down at some point.
Yeah,
this is Corbo catfish. I think this is XL. This is kindly donated by our friend Dave from Aquarium.
Thank you, Dave. Dave's a legend. Most of you will know Dave.
Yeah. And I think it's going to look best that way.
It is impactful. Yeah. That is for sure. But if we need to cut anything off, I've got a big like.
You got a saw. Oh, nice. I've got one.
Oh, that's good.
That's nice. But we'll just try it the other way, just to compare and contrast, as they say. I think the other way's better. It's got a bit more interest. And then it's not,
If it fits.
it's not going to fit that way, no. So that's that question answered.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to do what is able to do.
Yeah. I mean, we could obviously cut some bits off, like you say, but I don't think we need to.
Yeah, I always avoid doing any extra work wherever possible.
Yeah, it's like when we're attaching plants, I hate using string or fishing line or even glue. If I can wedge the plants in.
100%.
That's what happens in nature.
Yeah.
You don't get nature gluing stuff to it.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It just finds its way.
Didn't Amano never used glue, did he?
No, he used fishing line a lot, especially for Riccia, because he used to grow Riccia underwater. They used a lot of CO2 for that, and it'd create those beautiful bubbles.
Yeah.
And then moss. In fact, some of the training that he used to give to his students, and to Oliver Knott, for instance, would be you'd literally have 100 moss stones, and they'd give you a line of fishing line, and they'd sit there for hours tying this moss on. You know, like the wax on, wax off on the Karate
or
Kid.
Cleaning the floor with a toothbrush.
Yeah, exactly. It's that discipline.
Cutting the lawn with scissors.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you can get through this, we'll then take you to the next.
Yeah, you'll do worthy of the next level.
Yeah. I'd be gone. I'd get 5 in.
See you later.
Like,
Cheerio, mate. Yeah. So that's it. We've got a real nice instant impact there with that wood. It's coming out the top, which I think looks great, adds to that out of water look. And lots of opportunities to attach our beautiful attaching plants later.
Yeah, we've got some shade here as well, so it's going to give like a contrast.
Yeah.
We could
Especially
maybe
with this light, because it's really good for contrast.
Yeah.
Light and shade, isn't it?
Oh, we'll get a nice ripple as well. They create such good ripples.
Yeah.
I love ripples.
And then we've got some beautiful Bucophalandra species, which we'll show you later, which are going to actually really appreciate the higher light, and you'll get a much more intense iridescent colour.
Okay.
So that would be interesting.
See, I was always under the impression that Bush should be more like medium to low light.
It's one of the few very slow growers that will benefit from high light.
Okay.
So Anubias, for instance, you'll just get algae more than likely. But Bucophalandra actually responds really well to high light. So if you do have a combination of Anubias, Bucophalandra, always a good idea to put the Bus at the top and then the Anubias at the bottom.
Okay, and especially the CO2, I suppose, as well, it's going to really help.
Yeah, the CO2 will be necessary, especially if we're using high levels of light. If you don't have CO2 and really high light, the plants struggle to use that light, but algae will use that light, basically. So,
this light can go higher than that if we need, but I thought that was like a good level. It's hard to tell about the water and the plants, but
good.
Ideal.
So I'll just put my hand there, pretend I've just positioned that for the photo.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah. So this will hopefully go in, like I say, in Practical Fish Keeping magazine.
Like a step-by-step photo.
Yeah, this
log.
is what I used to do. Like back in, 2006, I started writing for them.
Before videos?
Yeah. For 10 years, I'd do pure photos, no video.
Really?
And then obviously my YouTube sort of took off a bit, and then I focused purely on video. But I really love photography. I love that mindful aspect of, it's almost like, because I was ex-military, I am ex-military, it's like being a sniper. You're looking through that viewfinder and you're looking for that thing that you want to shoot, which is a moving fish or whatever, and then you get that shot.
So you were a sniper?
No, I did training in that, but I wasn't an official sniper.
Okay, we don't have to keep all of this stuff in if you don't.
No, it's cool. I'm quite happy to talk about it. No, but I'm well known for bomb disposal, and that's one of the reasons I did aquascaping, because it's a nice contrast of the horrors of war, if you know what I mean. Because I did Afghanistan.
Yeah, creating life rather than...
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily ending it, but protecting it, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Well, destroying some, trying to protect others, and it's not...
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
But on more lighter notes, we've got...
Back to aquascaping, yeah. So we've got 2 smaller pieces. Now, this is actually riverwood, but it does complement the catfish wood here.
Yeah.
So this is a good example of, you can use different types of wood together, but just make sure they look similar.
This has been in water, I'm guessing, yeah?
I've only just rinsed it. It will want to float again, so this does probably need to be glued.
Yeah, we'll get that. We'll glue all that down.
So now it's a case of kind of positioning it to make it look natural. So you can see these are like natural roots flowing into the soil eventually.
Yeah.
And then we'll just kind of follow that pattern with these.
So we're going to use the classic sort of aquasaur at the back, border, and then...
Exactly, yeah. So we'll use tropical aquarium soil at the back. Probably we've got 3 bags we can use. We can have it really quite steep if we wanted. And then we've got some beautiful kind of cosmetic sands, different grades, to make a really natural looking foreground.
Yeah, just adding those few pieces has made it go from some sort of weird kind of symmetrical thing to looking like it's lodged in somewhere or coming out of an embankment.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create an essence of outside nature and transfer it into the aquarium. This is like the classic kind of nature aquarium concept that we're doing here. And it's really good to start off with a high impact piece, but then you can always add details to it afterwards. So it's really important to choose the right piece to start with, but then take your time and have fun actually putting it in the tank. Try not to rush it. It's a hobby. It's designed to be relaxing. We're going to be moving quite at pace today, but we've had lots of practice. But if you're a beginner, just take your time, enjoy it. Do it while the tank's empty, it's dry. Get your hardscape, position it, sit back, have a look. Can I make that look any better? Go back to it, make some tweaks, and keep repeating that process until you think that you've reached your goal, basically.
Another point I point out, so I get a lot of messages, what do you think of my scape? Notice the size of the piece of wood that George has selected for the tank. If you get oversized wood, you're already onto a massive winner.
Yeah.
Because the plant's going to make it look amazing anyway.
Yeah.
But if you've got that same, say you've got that exact same piece, but it's smaller in the middle, it will take a lot for that tank and a lot of time to look good. Whereas this will look great to start with and just get better and better and better.
I mean, a lot of the hardscaping you can do, and it would look good without the plants. So the plants are almost like an added benefit. I mean, they provide so many benefits in terms of...
It's like the opposite of me.
The plants are there.
Everyone would be like, no, MD's just going to cover it all in plants.
Yeah. Well, we will use a lot of plants today. We've got loads to use, but we'll try to keep some of this beautiful hardscape on show. Yeah. But where these small pieces are attached, it doesn't look quite so natural, so we can definitely tuck some attaching plants around here, and around here. And then we'll glue it down as well, obviously, before we do that.
That has to remain on show.
Yeah, the hole.
The abyss.
Yeah, and then we've got a hole down here as well. So another top tip to stop this floating, if you didn't want to use glue, is you could actually fill that with sand.
Yeah, or gravel. Yeah.
And then you could even have, if you wanted to be a bit weird, you could have a plant into it if you like, and have stuff coming out.
Yeah. The only problem is it's directly there, which will stop.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to go for that look, I mean, that's kind of what I've done here on the tank next door with my betta fish, and I just routinely trim out underneath so you still get the light coming through.
Yeah.
But so we've got salt water, like really low tech, betta, and then a high tech in the middle.
It's so like a nice transition, isn't it? This is lovely. Is this macroalgae in here?
Yeah. Nice. I did have corals, but the macroalgae means that there's zero nitrate. Yeah. So they just didn't.
Yeah. You might have to start feeding it at some point with fertilizers.
Yeah. So I looked into. I don't think I just touched anything.
Don't worry, mate. It's all glued down.
I think I turned it off though, George.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. It's on. It's off already.
Yeah. So I looked into. I don't think I can use like freshwater fertilizers, can I?
Yeah.
Well, I can.
Yeah. You can. I'd use.
Because you did this, didn't you?
Yeah,
You're one of the first ones that was on YouTube with one.
I did a macroalgae tank, a few different varieties, and I was actually dosing Tropico Specialized Nutrition, which has got everything in it.
Okay.
Because this sucks in, like you say, so much nitrate and phosphate. If it goes really hungry, it'll crash and then it'll just melt. Yeah. And then you'll have a disaster.
Ammonia and
yeah. So it might be worth adding. I mean, they do. I think some companies actually do specific fertilizers for macroalgae now, so it might be worth looking into that.
Okay, definitely. Yeah. Anyway,
back to freshwater.
Where do you see? We both probably do things in a different order. Where do you go now?
So I'll probably add the stones now. Yeah. And then top up the soil and the sand on top of the stone, so it looks like the stone looks really natural, kind of coming out of the earth. You could put it in later and kind of div it into the stone, but we'll see. We'll see what they look like. Yeah, that definitely, because a lot of like the traditional aquascapers tend to do the really, really thin decorative layer, don't they? Yeah. And I guess that works better with the rocks in first. Yeah. Because I obviously always have a substrate system. Yeah. This is going to be different to that, because when you've got the CO2, the highlight, and the lots of plants, the aquasoil, you don't need such a sort of abundance of different things underneath the sand like I do. Yeah. Because the CO2 is the main thing that the plants are going to be using as well as the soil, isn't it, really? So. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I'll be dosing fertilisers probably every day, just a little bit every day. Every day? Do you know who I am? Yeah. I'm a once a month kind of guy. Matt Damon fish tanks, aren't you? Every time you come here, it's a different one. Yeah, it was Matt Dawson last time. We promoted you to Matt Damon. There you go. We're welcome. Matt Damon. And I'm George Foreman. Matt Damon versus George Foreman, yeah. That'd be a thumbnail.
Or George Formby.
There you go. Ding, ding, ding,
George
ding.
Foreman.
So I've just added this beautiful piece of Yangtze stone, again kindly donated by Dave from Aquarium Gardens. And you'll notice this strata, that's these natural lines that run through the stone. And they're deliberately running along with the kind of the what do they call it? Grain, the grain of the wood. So
I was just going to say wood.
Yeah,
I was like, what
if you see there's a natural kind of grain running along there, and then you've got the natural strata of the stone there.
Look at the thought process, see? It's not just chuck it in here.
Yeah. There's a little bit of thought that goes into it. So I normally start off with like the most dominant piece, just to make sure that looks nice.
Yeah, I do that
like
too. Bigger stuff first, yeah.
Shiny, nice piece here. That might look good. Now, this is interesting. So we've got kind of almost competing strata here and here, so that's okay. So that will probably look kind of good there, I reckon. So I think of the aquarium as like a empty three-dimensional canvas, and then what we're doing here is we're adding our three-dimensional pieces of paint, and the idea is to create the most beautiful work of art that you can, and it is basically three-dimensional living art. That's what we're creating.
I know a lot of people can be like, "Oh, you're putting the rock straight down the glass. What about the egg cracks?" That is absolutely fine.
Not necessary. It's only an issue if you've got like a real kind of sharp piece of rock and you've got loads of weight on that, and then it creates a pressure point. But this is going to be absolutely fine. This is even my cichlid tank at home with probably 100 kilos of rock in there. That's straight onto the glass, no problem.
Yeah.
As long as it's not... I mean, it's in the cichlid tank with just sand, it's better to go straight on the glass, isn't it? Because if they dug it out
it needs to, absolutely. That's a really good point, mate. You don't... Yes.
I did the same because, that's a nice piece.
It's a nice piece. So really nice colours on
How
here.
sad are we? That's a nice rock.
I love a nice rock. So it's got character, it's got personality.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, you could have like
Come back a bit because it's whiting out, but there you go.
In all seriousness, rock has character. It's got all these textures, the different colours. It's almost like it's going from like a light grey brown to a green colour. You can obviously get different types of hardscape and rocks and wood, but just when you're in the shop, try to choose the most interesting pieces possible if you can. It's just going to add character and personality to the whole tank.
Yeah, and at the workshop I was at the weekend, one of the guys was saltwater and he wanted to do his first freshwater.
Yeah.
And he said to me, how do I choose the right coloured rock for the right coloured wood? I said, look, you can go for contrast, which works really well, or just go for whatever you fancy, what looks the nicest to you. They all work once the plants actually make this look, they do their own thing and it looks beautiful. Nature wins. Like we're just setting up the initial bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Once it takes over, it does what it wants, well, to a degree.
Yeah.
Not in Dave. Dave manicures it so it goes how he wants, whereas I just leave it. But it's a different kind of thing, isn't
there's
it?
a balance between like letting nature take its course and you just kind of guide its hand, or you kind of have this need to want to almost control nature, and you have control over the whole thing in terms of the aesthetics. What you don't have control over is the natural processes. So that will always win. But it's up to you. It's think about how much time and energy you want to put into your scape. People like Dave, and the high-level aquascapers, they get their fun from that level of wanting to control stuff. Whereas someone like yourself or a beginner who is not motivated by that, they just want to let nature take its course and just witness that and have fun with it. So there's no right or wrong way of doing things. It's, as long as the inhabitants, as long as the fish, the shrimp, and everything that you're looking after, being well looked after, the aesthetics are just there for you, really. So you take your pick.
Yeah, because they don't really care as long as they've got cover.
Exactly.
Food
as long as they're being fed, as long as they've got a bit of shelter, as long as the water chemistry is kind of appropriate. Yeah. So it's one of those beautiful forms of art that there is no right answer. There is no art in general. It's all subjective anyway. Yeah. So don't be don't
do
try to
what you want.
Don't overthink.
Yeah. Which we fall into a habit of a lot, and even I tried deliberately don't. And apparently Amano in his latter part of the career tried to deliberately go against what he was thinking. Yeah. Because he really wanted to create nature. And I saw a post from Aquascaping Rhino the other week.
Okay.
And he'd put this white box out in nature. He does, have you seen that?
Yeah. Create your own dojo.
Yeah. And it didn't follow any rules of composition at all.
No.
And yet it was there in nature.
Yeah.
So,
There you go. Yeah, Ryan Knoll is a cool guy. Yeah. Is that what you mean? Yeah,
I think so. I don't know. I've only met him at the airport very briefly because we had to get on
glasses,
planes.
tall, long hair.
He had a cowboy hat.
Yeah. Shout out to Ryan if you're watching. yeah, he's a cool guy.
So a few more detail ones as well, just to bring it across.
Just to add a little bit of je ne sais quoi, as they say in France.
Thierry Henry.
Je m'appelle Gégé. No, sorry.
Do you speak French?
No.
Oh, just that?
I speak German.
Do you?
A little bit. I used to live there for 6 years. Yeah.
Well, you've been going to Denmark a lot. Can you speak Denmarkish?
Do you know what? I'm so lazy because Danish is... They all speak really good English.
Yeah, they do.
So there's no need. But I speak a bit of German. I lived there for 6 years.
Oh, das ist gut.
Das ist sehr gut, ja. This is wunderbar.
Shout out to all my German followers. They'll love that. They'd love it.
Yeah, I know. We've got quite a lot of German. It's quite fun. I do go over there a bit for the show. There's an Interzoo trade show, which I tend to go to, so it's quite useful. So there we have the rough hardscape composition.
I like it already.
It's nice.
I quite like that you've wet everything because that is way more the colour now for when we fill it up.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because you can see even though it's the same type of stone, you do have different families of colour. You kind of got more of a grey one here, and these are more orangey.
Yeah, I do that on purpose. I like that better than when they're all completely matching.
Yeah, it just looks more natural, looks more interesting.
You very rarely in a river system see the same kind of stone. Like it's a wash of everything that's come down, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
Even serious stone, I'll pick the darker and lighter ones as well.
Yeah.
Like, I just like to mix it up.
Yeah, same.
It stops you being limited as well then.
Yeah.
You can just stick it in.
Free flow. Freestyle.
Yeah.
Okay, what we'll do now, I think we'll start gluing. You've got some fancy glue techniques, haven't you?
Yes, I do. Instant
I'll let you do the gluing, mate.
Okay, oh, great. This is the worst part of any build, but the most necessary.
I absolutely hate gluing, so if you're happy to do the gluing, that'd be great.
I will do.
So what I'd suggest is, so first of all, the wood, this big bit of wood will need anchoring down. So
we've got those 2 points, it's not coming off, mate.
So probably wedge some glue in there.
Yeah.
And probably on this one here.
Yeah.
And then actually glue the smaller pieces to the big piece of wood as well.
Yeah, we'll do.
That's okay.
So what I'll do, I'll use some tissue for the rocks, and then I'll use the glued gel for the wood pieces, and that'll be fine just to tack those, but we really want them stuck to those rocks.
Yeah, we do.
Right, okay, so I've got a little bit of tissue. It's a paper towel. You can use anything though. Some people like cigarette filters, but as long as they're pure cotton.
Yeah.
This is a really good area in here. There's a lot of surface area, and it means that we can get this tissue right in. So if you pack it quite tight, there's a good way of doing it. It seems to react better with the glue. And also a little squeeze when you actually put it in. Now you won't see this obviously because we can put some nice Anubias or Boost or whatever over the top of it, but it really does create the strongest connection for that, most floaty piece. And then for this stuff, I've got liquid super glue, which I'm just going to pour all over the top of the paper towel and on the edges of the wood as well, so it gets like an even stronger bond, and the edges of the rock. Now the reaction takes place quite quickly and it should start fizzing, which will get our breathing out of the way of. You can squeeze it together to make sure. Then I've got the little reactor spray here. It's already fizzing, but this will speed it up even quicker, meaning we'll be able to do it all today. And it stinks.
This is like asbestos.
What I like to do is bring my head down below the glass so it can all go upwards.
That's a fair point.
Or we could just wear masks. I know all the Indonesians have full-on gas masks when they do this, but then they're doing it all day, so...
That's right, yeah. Because they're creating those really intricate pieces, aren't they? The ones that they...
Yes,
they're like the bonsai that are made of like millions of different pieces.
And it's like pre-made and you can buy them in the shops, can't you? So, and then I'll do the same on the other side as well.
Cool. So we're just going to pour some tropical aquarium soil into this jug here, just so we can get some more precise...
It's been a long time since I used tropical aquarium soil.
That's good stuff. I use it all the time, pretty much. This or the Wise.
That's the fine one, isn't it?
That's actually the normal.
Oh, is it?
The finer's even finer. Yeah, it is on the finer side, but...
Back in the day, it was like...
A bit more chunky.
Balls, yeah.
So now what I'm going to do is actually pretty much pour it in all the same place, and all towards the back, and then it will naturally kind of fall towards the front a bit. And then using a paintbrush, if we need to, we can clear our area around the front.
How do you stop migration? Do you just overlap the sand?
Yeah, so sometimes I'll use smaller stones all the way across.
Yeah.
And then plug any gaps with some more tissue. And then other times I'll literally just use a natural barrier just by pouring it gently and moving it around. And then I'll actually deliberately plant in between. And then the roots will actually act as a separator as well.
Okay.
So unless you've got kind of ground-dwelling fish like Corydoras and stuff, hopefully the soil won't migrate too much in front of the sand.
I really want cories in here though. Yeah. I'll just get a magnet and then that works as well.
Magnets does work. It's really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, so just in case anyone didn't know what I'm talking about there, you can get these, you know, car mechanics, if they drop like a screw or a nut or something like that, they can go deep in with their magnet and it pulls up the screw. Yeah. Well, just the same, because of the iron in the aqua soil, if any migrate forward, you can just run the magnet over the top, picks them all up nice and quickly, because otherwise it's kind of impossible with tweezers to get each one, which is what I used to do in the day.
I still do. I don't have a magnet. I'm just really weird. I just get in there with tweezers. Is it my bit?
Yeah. It's literally £5 on Amazon, but no, it's all about the process.
Yeah, exactly. It's like wax on, wax off.
So we've got 2 big jugs, so we're probably going to need all that bag, haven't we?
At least, yeah. We might even use another bag.
Yeah,
we've got plenty. So
cool.
Yeah, and shout out obviously to Tropica for supporting with the soil.
Thanks very much, Tropica.
Beautiful plants.
Look, it feels like a proper set, George. I'm not used to this. Like, because we've got the B-roll camera.
That's a good shout, actually. I forgot.
Oh, sugar.
Good job you mentioned.
Well, I can give you stills as well from this. I'm filming in 4K, so I can just...
Nice.
Yeah, always film in 4K, so if I need to crop in, it doesn't look terrible.
Yeah.
Well, I thought about going 8K, then I thought, is that really necessary?
No, not at all.
4K
Most people are watching it on a phone screen.
Exactly. But the problem is with between 1080p and 4K, I can really tell the difference, and that annoys me.
Yeah,
like especially when we're looking at small detail things like plants and fish.
Yeah.
But yeah, for your standard style of vlogs and things like that, it's you don't need anything more than 1080p, do you really?
Not really.
Although the thing is, when I look at my analytics, a ton more now is watched on telly.
TV, yeah.
Because everyone's got the button, haven't they? The YouTube
smart
button.
TV, yeah.
And everyone's got a massive screen, haven't they? So it's kind of why I do 4K as well.
You know what I've been geeking out on lately?
What?
I'm thinking about getting a PS5 with the VR2 headset and Gran Turismo 7 and a full racing rig.
So I did have a full racing rig.
Did you?
Yeah, and Gran Turismo 7. And I wasn't playing it enough. And we wanted more space in the spare room, so I got rid of it. But it was great whilst it lasted.
Have you sold it?
Yeah. It was a well good setup as well.
Oh, mate.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I got the full rig where the screen attaches to it, so it's like on you.
Yeah.
And I got a big screen, so it's almost your field of view.
Wow.
And yeah, it made the game so much better, but the VR is even better.
I've seen the footage of the VR, and it's just incredible. And I just love that immersive experience.
Yeah.
And I've always been into race ever since I was a kid. I love racing games.
Have you done all the Gran Turismo games?
Yeah.
Me too. I was always...
Well, up to only up to PS2. So no.
You're missing out.
No, so I actually got one of those knockoff retro gaming things that you just plug straight into your TV, 40 quid.
Yeah.
I actually got it with me. Two like knockoff PS2 controllers.
Well, we can race later, but carry on.
Yeah, and it's got a PS1 emulator built in.
Yeah.
It's got SNES, Mega Drive, all the old school, 10,000 games.
Awesome.
And it's got the original Gran Turismo on it.
That's crazy that they could do that now.
And it's in a little box this big.
What I will say though is back in the day when me and you played it then, you had to really grind for your money in cars, didn't you? And that was the process that was fun.
Yeah.
They reward you so easy now that within no time at all, you've got like the top cars.
Yeah. Well, I took like an hour to get like the license. At least an hour just to get the licenses. Yeah. At least an hour. That's just like the B license. In
this day and age, people want like the instant win, don't they? Yeah. Whereas back then, the fun was the grind.
Yeah, agreed. And then you appreciated it when you did get something good.
Oh, did you? When you had to grind 15 races to get a new turbo to go up an extra 100 horsepower.
Yeah, exactly.
That was great.
Yeah.
I don't know how interested people are going to be in this, but you know, so you can skip this bit if you want.
There'll be some people that will be.
Yeah.
Cater to all the people. Right, I'll get another bag. So what I'm doing now is I'm just moving all of the soil towards the back here. This is going to be the open area.
Was I in that?
Yeah.
Although that looks kind of good.
It's real.
George just took a photo.
Yeah.
There's my hand.
We'll do another one. Right, stay out of shot for 10 seconds if you can manage that, Mark. Yeah.
Oh, we're struggling with focus. Oh, there we go.
There we go. So just moving that backwards, we'll carry on with the detailing later, but just...
And now you were in front of it.
Yeah, I was in front of it. I'm going to change the timer to 2 seconds. There's no need for a 10 seconds on that. It's just...
See, this is why you just got to keep rolling for funny stuff like that. Yeah. How hard is it to take a photo without us in shot?
Yeah, exactly.
Did he get it? No,
I actually want the paintbrush in it. Right, okay, third time lucky. Right, there we go.
Two's almost too short, isn't it?
Perfect. No, that's good. We're good. So we've sloped the soil up towards the back. That's going to create an enhanced sense of depth, give us some more height for the background, of course. The next step will be putting some beautiful kind of mixed foreground cosmetic sand, which is going to really complement the colours and the hues of the stone. By the way, I'm not into self-harming. I did help with my mum's garden yesterday, and it was just full of brambles and stuff.
Yeah, George turned up with a bunch of garden equipment in the back, and I'm like, what are you doing?
What are we doing here? I'm coming to chop your studio in half.
Like last time you came, you mowed down one of my tanks, which definitely needed it, and I thought you're preempting like.
I know what you got for me to mow down today. Yeah,
I mean, we got a lot.
Monsteras could do.
Imagine that. Yeah, what's going on? Your knees need hacking back.
Mate, that's the thumbnail. Me with the hedge trimmer.
Oh yeah.
On one of your monsteras saying George Farmer comes to destroy my studio.
Again.
There you go. Again. Yeah.
I think it might be related to the tank though.
That's boring, isn't it? People are used to that.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so we'll do the cosmetic sand next. So I'll use one of your smaller jugs. So here we've got some, this is Cimarron sand. Again, it's kindly donated by our friend Dave.
And that is WEO product.
It's WEO. We've given it a good rinse because it is cloudy AF, as they say.
Which I find WEO is expensive, but you do tend to get like a good enough variety where you haven't got to buy 3 bags of 3 different things.
Yeah, mix it up yourself. Yeah, it's really nicely mixed. It's different grain sizes, different colours. We'll get a better view and see when we get it in the tank.
Yeah, why are we looking at this going in the tank?
People love a bucket.
That is a big bucket.
It's a big-ass bucket.
I need a bigger bucket
It's
now.
a 30-litre bucket. It's great for gilding the guns.
I stopped that a while ago, but I need to start again. But you've out-bucketed me.
That's all about the bucket. Right, so let's just pour that in nice and carefully. Now, I normally just pour it right up against the front centre. Yeah. And then we can spread it out afterwards.
Let's see how much more we can scratch that glass.
I know, it's a little bit. I'm really bad at scratching glass.
It doesn't matter.
Algae magnets are the worst.
Yeah, if a bit of sand gets caught.
Yeah.
This is one of my oldest tanks, so I'm fine with it.
Still good nick. What make is it?
It was actually from All Pond Solutions when they just, they used to bring across all of the, in a big shipment of just your standard glass. I mean, the silicon isn't ADA level, but for anyone else, it's blinking good.
It's all right. I mean, it's low iron.
Yeah.
It's got a nice bevel on it.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, it does. I think at the time it was like £90.
Yeah,
you can't go wrong with that, can you? And back then I was like, I needed to get everything as low cost as possible. Yeah. And they're still all going to this day, so it just goes to show.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, tanks are tanks. It's just...
It's what's in them that counts.
It's what's inside that counts.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, this is the... we've got another size of Cimarron. It's actually not called Cimarron, the next one, but we'll show you that in a minute.
But it goes with it, like...
Yeah, perfectly. So it's easier to do with the sand dry, but as I said, we needed to wet it first just to keep it...
Although, to be fair, because it's wet, you can sort of ramp it a little bit better, can't you?
That's true. Yeah, yeah.
I never thought of that before, actually. That might be something I choose to do in the future. Because I like you, I always do it dry. I just think it looks better on camera as well. But
yeah, that's true.
And it settles better, but it's actually working quite good.
I love playing with sand, and I don't know about you, but this is like a grown-up sand pit, isn't it?
It's the child.
Like touching the stuff. I don't wear gloves. I love to touch the stuff. And they're natural textures, natural colours, 3-dimensional art. Just having fun.
I mean, I also don't wear gloves, but I wish I would when I'm doing that gluing, because the amount of times I've stuck my fingers together.
It's that's why I got you to do it, mate. I'm so clumsy. Yeah, glue everywhere.
It's because I'm like, when I'm gluing, I'm in the moment. I'm like, I want to get it done as fast as possible because I want to get onto the good bits, the next bit, you know?
Yeah.
So I never... Are you having a laugh? That is the 3rd time, Alexa. She's listening, George.
You're the Punisher.
She's listening.
Yeah. I think they're all listening, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all listening. Yeah, for advertisement purposes. Yeah. Plus security, I guess.
Yeah.
Doesn't like to brush well when wet, does it?
No. It's a labour of love.
Yeah. The thing is, we're doing so well, like for time. It's only 11 o'clock. And we only started scaping an hour ago. But that's the benefit when you've got like a proper clean tank to start with. Yeah. You can just crack on, can't you? Yeah. Most of the time, cleaning it and getting it ready is
it does take the time. But it is a good lesson. You know, you should take your time. You know, especially it's your hobby, like I said earlier. and it's to be enjoyed. You know, we tend to sort of, you know, do things quite quickly because we're experienced and we're creating content. You know, we might be on a bit of a time limit, but if it's your hobby and you're doing it at home, don't rush it. You know, put some nice chill music on, have a cup of tea or a beer or whatever you fancy, and then make it your time. You know, make it non-negotiable. You know, plan a day. I'm going to do my tank today, take a day off work even, and just have fun.
Or just, like, I'm doing my hardscape today.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can come down in the morning and go, actually,
yeah,
you know, I don't, because I'm one of those 80% kind of guys. If it's 80%
yeah,
there...
the 80-20 rule.
Yeah, because to get... If perfection's crippling, isn't it? And
Absolutely.
I've always found that, like...
Yeah, perfection. That's a really good point. Yeah, perfection is just an illusion anyway.
Yeah.
It's a man-made illusion.
Because to someone else, it's not.
Exactly. Yeah.
So deep today. We're just going so deep. Oh, I shouldn't say that. It's too
Jugs,
close.
we're going deep. We usually go in dry, but now we're going in wet.
That's true. I'm not sure.
I don't
know if this is making the cut, George.
So many euphemisms.
But because I said that, it will.
I think
people are going to start.
It's nice to see us having fun. Like, we're real humans that, like, you know, have fun and aren't all like.
Yeah, and that you do get that when two people are doing this together. Like,
yeah, because
me and Matt just had a laugh the whole time.
Love that. Yeah, he's a great guy. But I work on my own so much. When I'm at home, I'm like really chill. My whole environment's super chill, and I've got a reputation for like having a chill voice and a real kind of people watch my videos to chill. But I'm a fun guy as well, and I can only really express that when I'm bouncing off someone else.
Yeah,
so it's all good.
When I was in Belgium, I said that you were coming, and they're like, "Oh, how are you two going to get on then?" Because George is so sort of like chilled, and you're so like bouncy. I'm like, George is not always chilled. No. Like you feed off of who?
Yeah, George's got ADHD. What's going on with your Alexa?
It's Kate, my missus. I better answer it. Yeah. So George is still painting the aquarium.
Yeah, it's just such fun, isn't it?
Well, it looks good. Yeah.
We'll clear the water off the front in a minute.
Yeah.
But we'll use the bigger grade of gravel now.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I forget what the name is. But again, it's available from WEO, and I think I kindly donated from Dave. So rather than using a jug, just going to use my hands to sprinkle. Now this is going to be used as like a natural transition. So rather than going from a fine texture straight to the stone, which is obviously a huge texture, we can use an intermediary texture, which is this gravel. And the colours match perfectly, I think. So you can just literally sprinkle it all around the stones.
This is the bit I always say, just chuck it in, let it bounce off, let it fall where it wants.
Yeah, that's what happens in nature, pretty much.
So will you use the course to overlap the soil? Yeah,
and that will help, create more of a barrier, and then also we'll plant around the barrier as well, and that's, like the root structure will help prevent that soil from moving forward. We're going to be using a lot of crypts today. Are you a big fan of crypts?
Yeah. Well, I'm a fan of the plant, not the slower growing taking off. But when it does, it looks so good, like when they're matured in.
And because you've got CO2 and good light, they'll grow pretty quick.
Cool. So I'll just show people who don't know, me or the studio. So this tank here, this is my self-sustaining tank, so I don't do anything to it. I haven't touched it for months, not even water top it up, because that's automatic. But all these plants in the front are crypts. Now, when I planted them, they didn't look like that. They looked like that leaf that you can see at the back, so they look more spindly. And then when the plant's underwater, there's less access to CO2, and light obviously is being diffused, so the leaves tend to go much bigger and like spread out more, and it looks so much better underwater, I think, than above it. Look at that. A retaining wall of pebbles. Summer's going to migrate. It's just inevitable.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter.
It's okay.
Again, I'm not the sort of person that frets it a little bit.
No, I mean, it's not like a bright white sand either, so a little bit of soil here and there, you're not really going to...
Bit of realism.
Yeah, you're really going to notice. I'm just going to wedge some bits underneath the wood as well, and that's going to help prevent any extra sort of migration.
Yeah, because George said he was coming, and to do a little shop tour. Not shop, this isn't a shop. To do a studio tour. Yeah. And I was like, well, you did that last time. Let's just make something, you know? It's more fun for us, I think,
Absolutely.
for a start.
Yeah.
Because this is my favourite thing of everything.
Creating art, creating nature.
Yeah.
Takashi Amane said, creating nature is the ultimate luxury, which I agree with.
Yeah, because you're Because you're
basically God. You're basically playing God, and this is the universe, and your guiding hand has created it, and then your guiding hand maintains it. So the more effort and energy and creativity you put it into creating it and maintaining it, the more reward you get back. So it's a metaphor for quite a lot of things, I think, aquascaping.
I think that probably is why I always loved strategy games as well. Because you're creating villages and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it sort of translates over to why I love the process of the tanks. And it's another reason which I know you can be not against but suggest doing is I don't keep my tanks running for huge amounts of time. So I think the maximum I did was about a year and 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
But most of them, after 6 to 8, I'm ready, they're done. They've reached a point where I think that's what I've envisaged.
Yeah.
And the process is done for me, and I like the creation again and trying to get to the point.
Yeah, okay.
Because I like that evolution.
You like the actual creation process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that creation process normally takes 6 months.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Not just this bit. I mean,
growing it in and getting to that final point.
And when it's there, I feel like, okay, the goal's achieved. Now I'm just maintaining something, which to me isn't, like, I know a lot of people say, find fun in the maintenance, but it isn't fun for me, which is why I set them up in a way that I don't have to do anything or minimal.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your candid, your honesty there. If you don't like maintenance, then you don't like maintenance. But I actually find, more recent years, the maintenance for me is actually almost as enjoyable as the creation, because it's an opportunity for me to care for this thing that I've created. And the more attention and care you give it over the longer term, the more you kind of appreciate the nuances as Aquascape has developed. So I'm not saying that your way's wrong or my way's right or anything. It's just a different way of approaching the hobby. But as long as, and I can see that you look after the aquariums, you're looking after the livestock, and that's the main thing. If you're creating a new world for that livestock and it's still being well looked after, then I don't think anyone can argue with what you're doing is any way wrong.
And also, I find massive reward in the tank's ability to look after itself.
Yeah.
That for me was always the challenge.
Yeah.
And now you get the odd tank, don't you, that for no reason at all, you just can't nail it.
Yeah.
But that happens very rarely for me now. And I find great achievement in being able to just sit back like that self-sustaining tank and it looks brilliant all the time.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd have to do is trim some plants when they're needed.
Yeah.
And of course, it's different as well because I've got all these aquariums. I think if I had like 3 or 4 top, tanks at home for display purposes, I think that would be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because it's less time as well.
Yeah, and we obviously have very different, I don't want to say business models, but, the way we operate is very differently. And my aquariums are part of my home. They're actually integrated into the home as part of the interior design. So it makes sense that I want to keep them in the longer term because I don't want to disrupt the home. Whereas this is a studio and it's designed for creativity, designed for new creations.
That's why I called it a studio, not a gallery.
Yeah.
Because it's an ongoing production. Like an artist's got canvases everywhere, haven't they, in their studio? And some bits are dirtier than others, and it's always ongoing.
That's a really good point. Yeah, the difference. Yeah, that's fundamentally what we are. I'm more of a gallery. You're more of a studio.
Yeah, and you called it a gallery as well, didn't you?
I called it a GFS gallery, which is weird because it's the George Farmer Studios gallery. So everything covered.
Yeah, I suppose both apply though.
Well, I do, and I do create a new tank. That's why I've got 2 smaller tanks, the Scaperline 60s. They're designed to be more of a higher turnover, maybe 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
And then the Highline 400, that's been going in its current form for 3 years, and then the Malawi cichlid tank, similar. So, but because they're bigger and they do form more of the focal point of the home, it makes sense to keep them in the longer term.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Me and Kate are looking at having our first aquarium at home, and it will be long term.
Yeah.
Because I want it to look great all the time. There will be more maintenance, and I probably will get much more enjoyment out of that because then I can step back at the end and look at it in the room and go, nailed it, Do you
know what you want to do yet in it?
She loves this self-sustaining one, but she also loves the Mabuna. Now, if I do the Mabuna, I would do it like what I've already got, which is this style here where, ironically, this requires zero maintenance. I literally just top the water up, and every now and again a little bit of glass clean at the front, but it doesn't. You basically, I've nailed the lighting to that level where you get a little bit of algae, which is great for the bristlenose, but it doesn't go over the top. The sand always stays fresh because we've got the right livestock in there turning it up underneath the cynodontis and things like that. And as a spectacle for like a living area, I kind of want to do like a dividing wall as the tank.
Yeah.
So I'd have an island in the middle and you can see all the way through.
Yeah.
Because my living room's like office sort of to my one side for me, then the other side's for watching TV or relaxing with the kids and everything like that.
Yeah, room dividers are great. Yeah. My cichlid tank's a room divider.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Yeah, I absolutely love it.
And we love these fish as well. They're
very characterful.
Yeah, they are. And the kids love them. They call it the Skittles tank.
Yeah. It's the nearest thing to a reef, freshwater reef. Because actually, the behaviour is quite similar. Well, and the colours are obviously really intense.
We think that they evolved from saltwater fish as the lake got cut off.
Yeah, makes sense.
It would, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because they like the higher pH as well. Which,
yeah. Like saltwater,
Yeah.
Right, George says we're ready for plants, and we have got a lot.
So many, mate. So many.
Apparently too many, but I said you can never have too many. But to be fair, now you've opened that.
So we've got, shout out to Tropica again for all the beautiful aquarium plants. You'll like that. You like red.
Yes.
This is a new species.
Blood red.
That will go really red. It doesn't mean much light to go red either, so that would be really cool. And then we've also got HR as well, which is similar, but it doesn't go so red.
Yeah.
So you can blend that in together. It'll be nice and natural. I like to mix textures and colours, and it just keeps a natural vibe. And we've got loads of crypt parva.
Yep.
That would be nice as like the transition between the wood and between the soil and the sand. And then we've got some bigger crypts. We've got what's that, Mayoya, or is it the Nurii? That is beautiful. It has a really interesting colour. Like in a V-shaped formation going between red and green. So that's beautiful. And that will get to about 20 centimetres tall. So that'll be a nice mid-ground background. Nurii, all of those. We've got Rotala green as well. It'd be good to have some fast-growing stems in the back to help early algae issues. We often get algae in the early days. So loads of fast growers will help with that. So pop that over to the table, mate.
What we're going to do is come up here, prep them all, time-lapse it, because you don't want to sit. This is going to take a while.
We'll just do a time-lapse of these, and then maybe when we plant each species, I can just give a little spiel on each species in more detail. Yeah. This is beautiful. This is Albedo Brown.
Oh, yes, I love that. I love that.
I've got a couple of pots of that.
It's not big, but it's a good detail.
That'll go nicely behind the parva. Oh, this is a brand new one as well from Tropica. This is the Spiralis Red. So this will actually turn a really intense red colour. Okay. It'll go quite tall, probably reach the surface. Yeah. And it'll have a beautiful green vein running down the middle. So that'd be really nice for the back. And then we can blend that in with some Crispitula. So that'll be nice for the background.
I was thinking then, we've got a lot of tall plants that are going to go long. And then I remembered it's 80 centimetres, not 60. So that's good, isn't it?
They've got more Spiralis Red there. And then we can actually put some Marsilea kind of just towards the back of the sand, and that will gradually creep along, and that will act as a nice transition to the parva.
Nice little detail, that one.
Yeah, exactly. And then we've got some more crypts. We've got the classic Wenditii green. This is a real easy, nice mid-ground plant. Just 3 pots of that, mate. Do you like Staragini? Can you grow that well?
Yeah.
That could go very nicely around the base as well.
Especially in CO2. I mean, it does well for me without CO2, but it does really well with CO2. Well, like every plant there.
We have got Sagittarius subulata, and it is a bit of a brute, and it grows really crazy. We don't have to use that.
No, because like you say, it will take over everything else.
You don't like you don't like maintaining tanks, so
I've got it in lots of other tanks as well, so it's like
you don't need to show that
mix
off.
It up.
We've got broadleaf, that will mix nicely with the Wenditii green, that will grow a little bit taller, and it will go like a nice reddy brown burgundy colour.
Broadleaf crypt, that is.
Do you want Trident Fern in there?
Yeah.
Yeah? That'll go nicely on the wood. I think we only need 1 pot.
Okay.
Because you don't want to smother the wood too much. You can actually, well, you do, I don't. All right? It's nice.
No, we're doing your rules for this one.
So we can actually split this up into like individual, almost like rhizomes, and then just almost have little accents, almost like a palm tree effect coming out of the wood. I think that would look really nice.
Which will eventually grow into their own little bushy sections.
Exactly, yeah. So probably only need 1 pot of that. Got another pot of the Marsilea. we might not need so many rotalas, but we'll take them anyway. And Layla, you like your planting heavy.
Oh, yes. I saw an update video of my tanks at Dave's.
Oh, yeah.
They're chock-a-block now, aren't they?
Yeah, actually, I took a little video for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll show you in a minute. You can put it in your video now. So, I was in the Aquarium Gardens getting the Hardscape for Mark the other day. And while I was there, I thought, I'll show Mark.
Who's Mark?
I'll show you. Sorry, MD. Matt Damon, sorry.
It's fine. People know me as Mark.
Yeah. Here we go. Look at that.
There we go. Look, the methods work.
So this is CO2.
Yep.
And this is non-CO2.
Yeah, because we wanted to show, the difference.
I think it's incredible for non-CO2.
Yeah.
And this whole system, including the plants and the hardscape, £400 for everything.
You can't.
I think that's great. That's really good.
That's really what I was trying to showcase to people, is that you can do it like that.
Yeah, you can do it on a budget, absolutely.
I think Dave was probably sceptical of if it would stay that way.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say, like, oh, the only reason I have such good tanks is because of my water, but then your water up there is...
Yeah, it's very hard.
Very hard.
But it's all about what you can grow, like you say, plant with a real diverse range of species, almost do like a deliberate kind of, I think even Dave does like a jungle pack, where he'll actually do a specific kind of collection of loads of different species, stick them in your tank, see what grows well, see which doesn't, and then you kind of know what you've got your kind of palette, if you like, for your scaping.
Yeah, it's always the best way. Get every plant to start with.
Yeah, we've got some
and
more.
It's fun, isn't it? Like, it's like adding Pokemon at the end of the day. Yeah. You don't have to get them all in one go. Like 1 week, go and get another one.
More Spiralish Red. Yeah, exactly. And then...
Oh!
Just a few more.
Did you just raid the whole place?
Yeah. That will grow too quickly for you.
What is it?
It's the Hygrophilus iamensis 53B.
Oh yeah, I love it though. I've just actually bought a load of it.
I do love
it.
Of that in the background.
Again, one of the first plants I learned to grow well, and because it grows so big and fast, makes your whole tank look nice and green very quickly.
There you go, a couple more then if you like it so much.
When people start off, they just want lots of nice growing green plants, don't they?
Yeah.
And it definitely does that.
Some more Crispitula for the background as well.
George, we have got so many plants here.
Right, this is a brand new species. You don't have to plant it in here because I don't think it will sort of work so well, but please use it in one of your other scapes. This is brand new. This goes purple.
Oh, okay. Why don't you think it will do well in this one?
I just don't think it will. I don't think the texture and the colour is going to suit the overall vibe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, basically.
All right.
So
I will plant it straight away.
But I will give you those to put somewhere as appropriate. And then we've got loads of our attaching plants. So we've got Anubias petite, so that will go lower down on the wood, between the rock and the wood. And then this is beautiful. This is brand new from Tropica. This is one of my favourites at the moment. This is the Sordid Orla Blue.
Blue.
And when it's mature, you can't really see it right now, but it will take on a really nice deep bluey purple iridescence, especially with your good lighting. So we'll put that towards the top of the wood where it will get access to most of the light. So we've got a few pots of that, and then we've got the Bucephalandra, or Bucephalandra, however you want to say it, red, which is similar leaf shape and texture, but it goes more of a red colour. So you've got red and blues mixed together. Cool. That'd be nice. Can you take those?
Yep.
And more of the same. Got more Saltzmani purple there. And then we've got some more Spiralus Red as well, just in case we haven't got enough. More Anubias and that there, and I think that's probably enough. And that means I can probably do a scape at home with all these leftovers. So that's thank you.
It's worth pointing out to the audience, like we are creating something here that we want to have a good impact straight away, for the video, for you guys to enjoy. You don't necessarily have to start with this many. If you can, do.
Yeah.
But you can do half to start with, let them grow in, trim them, replant them, enjoy the process. But we are making a video at the end of the day. So that is a lot of plants for the space available. But we know it's going to look great.
Yeah. So we've got lots, more than enough. You'd probably get away with 20%, a fifth of this quantity.
Yeah.
But we're going to plant in relatively big bunches to get that instant impact. But if I was at home and I was on a limited budget, which obviously most people are, just split those pots into more individual portions, and then you'll get more coverage, and away you go.
Yeah, right, we've got about an hour of plant prep.
Yes.
So, plants are ready. We've had some lunch.
The size of these bad boys.
Yeah. I love just like
making me feel a bit insecure.
Oh, those are your ones. Those are my ones.
Those are my little ones. You're trying to make up for something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, when it's laid out like this, it doesn't look quite as, as many. But that is a lot. Like, if you think you're spacing these all out, it's going to cover
each one of these is probably 10, 20 stems.
Yeah.
So and there's probably so you're looking at about 800,000 stems there altogether.
Good maths.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let's just get them in.
Let's get them in. I'll talk about each species one by one as I plant them, and then we'll do a time lapse.
Yeah, that's because no one wants to see us planting every single one of these.
A good hour or so.
I reckon so. Yeah. All right,
cool. Let's go. So we'll do the foreground species first. The crypt parva. This is the smallest crypt that's available from Tropica. So there are quite a few individual plants there.
Crikey, there is, isn't
probably
there?
100 or so at least. And then we've got the crypt albida brown. This is going to probably grow 2-3 times as tall as that. That's going to go intermittently between the parva, act as a nice sort of texture mix. And then just in the foreground, around the back area of the sand towards the wood, we'll put some of the Marsilea. Might not use it all, but any spares Mark can use in his other tanks.
Just should point out, the roots always look like this.
They always look dark, and it's actually a fern. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh,
it's actually a baby fern.
Okay.
So
this can be in this. Well, I suppose ferns' roots can be in the substrate as well, can't they?
Yeah, they
not
can
the
be.
rhizome, but
yeah. But yeah, it's quite a unique little carpeting plant. Very easy. Doesn't need CO2, and does well in low light as well. But it's a lovely kind of dark green once it's mature. And then we've got loads of different crypts. So we've got the Cryptocoryne undulatus broadleaf. This will stay that kind of colour, and it will get quite a bit taller eventually, up to kind of here.
Crikey.
The Wendertii green. This will kind of stay this kind of size. So we'll kind of mix those together to act as a nice sort of mixture of, contrasting the colours. And actually, under good light, the Wendertii green will have like a red kind of stripe down the middle, which looks nice. And then we've got the Myoia. This will have quite a broader leaf. Will get similar height to the undulatus. Again, we'll probably just mix that intermittently in the midground. And in the background, we've got the Rotalas. So we've got the Rotala green, Rotala hra, and the Rotala blood red. And that will form a curtain around the back, and that can be trimmed as appropriate.
Awesome.
So we'll get those in next, and then we'll plant the next tray. So we need to keep the plants wet, keep them sprayed. They have been adapted to grow in liquid because they're the ones who grow. If they get to dry out too much, it can damage them. So definitely keep spraying them.
And you can tell me something actually, George, that I don't know. I have heard that because these are obviously grown in the cups with like high nutrient levels in there they're growing in. Some people have said that you need to dose extra to start with to account for that because the roots aren't established into the system. What would you say to that?
That is a good point. They're basically baby plants. They're very young plants. So unlike a mature plant that's been grown in a pot, it doesn't have much nutrient reserve.
Yep.
So it is a good idea to dose more fertiliser, either liquid fertiliser or plant them into a nutrient-rich substrate. So that is a good point.
So a bit more than the once a month.
Yeah.
No, once every 2 weeks I probably do fertiliser.
I actually dose my fertiliser every day, but just a smaller amount, just to give them little and often rather than big doses, if you know what I mean.
And that makes sense as to why my self-sustaining one has done so well, because it's got the auto doser on there.
Okay.
I don't have to think about it, and every day, like you say, it's putting in a couple of squirts little bits. And
so rather than like feast or famine, they're getting their consistent diet, if you know what I mean.
It's like I'm walking back round into the production area.
Yeah, that's good.
Right, George has finished planting. It's time to fill the tank up. Now, I'm gonna fill it nice and slowly, but I will fade to black, and the next time you see this tank will be in a good few weeks' time when it's grown in looking fantastic. Thank you very much for being here today, George.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you for doing this. I'm gonna take good care of it. I will be fitting CO2. I'll talk all about that.
Cool.
Oh no, we've still got to put the filter on yet.
Yeah, it's boring
Yeah,
though.
it's
You
just-
should do that at the end of the video.
I'll talk about it. I'll just say what's on it.
I need to get on the road soon.
Yeah. We're running out of time because we've been having
Too much fun.
too much laughs and stuff rather than actual
than
building.
work.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, thanks for coming. Let's fill her up.
Cheers, mate.
So it's been about 3 weeks since George created the tank, and look at it. That's not George's fault, that's my fault. Kind of did it deliberately. I did a video on starting tanks and how to, get your plants to grow and stuff like that. And I was using this as an example of, like, if you've got too much lighting in a new tank, you don't keep up on certain elements, this is what happens. So what's going on? We've got a diatom outbreak and a half going on right now. Now you always, well not always, but quite often tend to get this, and I'm happy just to let it go through its process. It's gone past that point because we have got exposed nutrients in terms of the aqua soil at the back. I've also not done a single water change on it. It's got high lighting, like very high lighting for low plant growth because we started with the lab plants, which means they take a lot longer to get going. Look at the surface as well. Look at this sort of scum section that we've got. Again, all of this could have been avoided by consistent maintenance and water changes and stuff like that. But that's not really my style, so I just left it, and I thought it would be something interesting we can learn. I was just going to cut straight away from the last scene to it looking beautiful, but then no one learns anything. So how do we fix something like this? Well, first of all, we get right in there. Manual removal of as much as we can. Then we can whip the water down, bring it back up again, and then we can add some algae eaters. So first of all, I've got like this pipe cleaner thing. This is perfect for catching any sort of thread algae. Look at that, you just put it in, turn it round. It's all coming off so easy. I was expecting that as well. This sort of algae doesn't cling to all of the plants, which is brilliant. Makes it nice and easy. Don't let it get to this point how I have. Sort it out before then. I have been busy, but I was looking forward to giving it a big clean out like this, all in one go. Hopefully after I do this, and we add maybe some floating plants as well, it shouldn't come back, especially once the algae, look at that. The lollipop no one wanted. Look at my hand as well from that surface scum. Lovely. So now I'm just going to get in there with a pipe and keep wafting everything around it as I suck the water out, and it'll take most of the diatoms out. Okay, there we go, we've freshened it up. We've dropped some of the tannins as well, so it's looking less sort of browny and more vibrant and green. Next up is to put in the algae eaters. There's still some thread algae sort of dotted around, but that's fine, it'll be a food source. But we're gonna put in there now a Mano shrimp. So this is my pearl weed carpeted uragumi style tank, and as you can see, there are lots and lots of Amanos in here. Basically, when I break down a tank, I just put them in here because I know they're easy to catch. There's plenty of food going around for them. They do really well, and it's kind of like the reserve. So there's way more in here that's needed, and I can transfer, I'm going to transfer about 10 over into that scape. It's all basically cycled down everything, 3 weeks going on with an algae diatom outbreak. It's going to be all good. So I managed to catch 6 before the rest of them hid. Water temperatures will match, but there we go, look. Get them in there. They're going to do an insane job. I'll come in tomorrow and loads of it will just be gone straight away. And I've also got a bristlenose as well, look. Nice albino one. That'll clean up the wood, the rocks, and everywhere really. It's a smaller size. I've made sure I put a smaller one in because I don't want them digging up all the foreground plants. Bigger ones can be a little bit more ruthless when they go in between rocks and things, so this one's like a perfect size. Just the one in that size, absolutely fine. And then we've got some floating plants as well. These are red root floaters. Some tanks, they do really well and go bright, bright red, especially with higher light intensity like we've got here. So I'm going to put those there, and I'm also going to pinch some of these as well. This is mini water lettuce. Get that in there. They won't necessarily stay, but they're going to help in this process of just getting everything settled and balanced. And here we are now 3 weeks on after adding the cleanup crew And as you can see, there's not a single spot of algae anywhere. To be honest, within 2 days, they'd cleared a lot of it. And then there was just some little background bits just, you know, carrying on for a little while. But after a week, I wasn't seeing anything at all. And as you can see, all the plants have grown in massively from when we first set it up. Hopefully, George is going to be really pleased with this. I've literally just taken the CO2 off of it as well because I needed the disperser, the CO2 diffuser that makes the bubbles for another tank because I completely forgot I only had one. So yeah, that's literally just come off. But for me, like, I won't put it back on now. It's grown fast enough. It's at a really good level. It's just a case now of keep trimming back the rotalas you can see there and replanting them. The background plants grow absolutely fast enough anyway, and they're already nearly hitting the surface. So yeah, everything's looking good. We've got our floating plants at the back there, and it's just worked beautifully, and it looks really nice. Oh, I also added a little bit of Bolbitis and a Java fern in this section here, only because it was such a little dark spot. I just wanted to bring some kind of highlights to that area. Otherwise, it was just this big dark area of nothing. That's purely because the way the light is situated directly above, and it was casting just a strong shadow, whereas now there's a little bit of detail in that area as well. So yeah, I think we're ready. I think we're ready for fish. I'm going to go to the shop now and pick some out. I'm got no idea what I want yet. I want something like featurey, maybe like a cichlid group or something like that, but nothing that's going to munch away the plants as well. So yeah, let's take a look. So I've just walked in and Cheryl straight away said, "What do you want?" And
wow, it wasn't quite like that. I said, "What can I do for you, sir?" Didn't I?
Yeah, that came out wrong. Not like, "What do you want?" It was like, "What are you looking for today?" But I said to her, I haven't actually decided at all, but straight away I've seen something I think that I'm going to want to get. So straight away I've seen these Bolivian rams here. I love Bolivian rams. I haven't had them for ages. I just like them better than like fancy rams.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like they're hardier.
They are.
You don't have to have really high temperature size-wise.
Nice coloration.
Yeah, I mean, these are only like,
food.
I'd say like half size at the moment, but that's good.
Nice feature fish.
Yeah, I love them. And the rummies with them as well. It's like,
yeah, rummies are cool.
I think
nice
so far,
rummy.
that's the
point,
one choice.
Yeah?
But I'm going to look around and see for some more.
Let's have a look. These are cool tetras.
It's got rainbows here. Oh, look, there's some nice Bosmanis here, actually.
Yeah, there is some nice Bosmanis.
Might have to steal one. And these
are quite cool. I think they are on the lines of a penguin tetra.
Yeah. I've never seen them, actually.
But I think the tip goes, because you get some of the black line goes downwards. Right. And that's going upwards. So I think there's two different species that look very similar.
Costas
tetra. Yes. Don't ask me about Latin names. That's Martin's name.
There's some nice pearl gouramis I can see in there. They would suit the scape, actually. I've got a couple in another tank, but
yeah,
Bolivians are still number one at the moment. We're going to do all of this, and I'm going to be like Bolivians.
Bolivians, yeah, absolutely. Well, they're nice, aren't they?
Some nice barbs there.
Yeah, they get massive though, so depending on the size.
No, we don't want those. No. It's only at 80 centimetres, so...
Okay.
Kind of perfect for a group of Bolivian rams.
Perfect.
God, what tetra are these? They're massive.
They come in from one of our employees. Do you remember Matt Moss?
No.
Mossy?
I don't think I ever met him, did I?
No, might be a little bit before your time, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just he's moved house, so he brought them in.
They're very, very nice.
Yeah, I imagine they got some teepees.
Yeah, they look kind of like got that aggressive movement to them, left, right, like they're already on the hunt. So we've come down here. This is a lot of the smaller tetras and things, isn't it?
Yes.
Not really so much like featuring stuff.
No.
I kind of want to feature in a tank. That's why I'm thinking Bolivians.
Bolivians, I think. Nice classic.
And then it's fully planted as well, so like I don't think I want full-on big cichlid, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it might be all right, but I don't really want to risk it. I think we go Bolivians.
For a dwarf.
Yes.
Yes.
I just said to Cheryl, I was like, Cheryl, I don't think these fish are doing too well. And then I read headstanders. They're just like vertical fish a lot of the time.
And then these guys as well.
What? I've never seen that. I didn't even know this existed. Why? Like, what possible reason could it be that that's better?
Why not? Why not?
I don't know. It's like they've got swim bladder issues.
Then you've got the hockey stick pencils, and they're always on an angle, aren't they?
These golden plex are nugget plex are so nice.
They are.
I want
Eat
them.
your plants, though.
No, not for these. You know what I was saying about the plex tank?
Yep.
Oh, 100% want those.
Yeah,
Gorgeous.
they are really nice.
Right, we're back from the shop. You can see that all of the fish are acclimating, temperature acclimating. They've been in there
all for about 30 minutes now. The water level, don't worry, it's not that high. It's just where the bags are in there, they've raised it. But you can take them out and put them in now. This is technically a whole quarantine tank in itself, and they're all from the same system, so they can all go straight in. So in first, we've got the amazing Bolivian rams. I'm pretty sure they're going to hide to start with until they get comfortable. Yeah, they've lost a decent amount of colour from in the shop, but that'll soon come back. Trying to be nice and steady. I'm going to spook them as soon as they get in. I'm liking that though. They're in the foreground. Right, let's give them some buddies so they're like, feel more comfortable. And now for the rummy nose tetra, which are looking pretty good still. They've got nice red noses. Some of them anyway. There we go, guys. There's a good group of, what we got, like 15 to 20 there? So eventually they're going to be schooling everywhere. To start with, they're just going to be a bit freaked out and get settled in. But very quickly, yeah, I think they're going to be good. Oh, the two combined look great. Now, I was tempted to get some cories for the tank, but I just didn't want them pulling all the soil to the front. That would wind me up no end. So, yeah, I think this is perfect. We've got the right cleanup crew. I mean, the amount of Amanos, was it 7 we put in? A couple of bristlenose, they've done a perfect job. I don't really view cories as like the full cleanup crew. They're more of a sort of feature cleanup. But if it doesn't suit, and I don't think it would in this one, then yeah, I'll just leave them. I've got plenty of cories in other tanks. You seem to be settling in quite well. As soon as the rams start seeing the rummy nose going left and right, they'll feel even more comfortable and they won't just stay still like that. But we can come back to them in a bit.
So it's now the next day. As you can see, we've got a lot of rummy nose schooling. Rummy nose tetra are some of the absolute best fish for schooling. Like quite a few fish, when you first put them in, it's like school together and swim around together, but the rummy nose continue to do it the whole time they're in the tank. I've just been sat back watching and they just keep going left and right in their little group. See, there you go. And they just do this all the time. They're absolutely the best for if you want that particular look. Left to right, left to right. The rams are settling in nicely as well. They're much more chilled, but they're dotted about. There's 2 there. There's 1 right in the centre there. It's almost like they're trying to find their own little territories. And there's 1, look, just back there in the plants as well. So yeah, doing well, doing really, really well. Oh, I love them. They're such a cool fish. The overall look of the tank, it's just fantastic. It's quite simple what George has done here. It's just 1 big piece of wood, and then we're using the plants to the left and the right to accentuate everything, and it's turned out fantastic. So what would be next for the tank then? Well, it does need a trim up now, but I didn't want to do that and then film the final shots because it's just going to look like it hasn't grown. So, you know, moving forward now, anything like stem-wise that can be trimmable is going to be trimmed and replanted. The long crips, we'll just keep letting them grow, hit the surface, they'll churl over, that'll look really good as well. But, you know, for now, I'm just going to enjoy the look of the tank and let you guys see it as well. Thank you to George for coming and doing this for me. It was a great day, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it too.